Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's lesson, we are going to focus on building vocabulary for use in emergencies. I will divide the lesson into 3 stages: preparing for an emergency, asking for help in an emergency, and dealing with an emergency yourself. We are going to look at emergencies more broadly, so please do let me know if you'd like a lesson on any specific emergency. Now let's get on to the video. Preparing for an emergency. What I mean by this is asking questions that might help you to avoid or deal with certain emergencies. Do you have any allergies? Are you allergic to anything? This is an important question to ask if you are speaking to someone you don't know very well or at all. If you ask this question, it will help you prepare in case the person does have any allergies and has an allergic reaction whilst you are with them. If someone does have an allergy, you can ask them further questions. What should I do if you have an allergic reaction? Do you carry an EpiPen? Do you have any medication with you that I should know about? Being as informed as possible is always helpful. However, be aware that these questions are personal and should only be asked in certain contexts. Perhaps you would like to bake some cakes for your English class, but you are not sure if anyone has any allergies. This would be a suitable time to ask the question. If you would like to tell someone that you have an allergy or allergies, you can say, I am allergic to. Do you have any medical conditions that I should know about? This is another very personal question, but in certain contexts it would be a useful thing to ask. Where is the nearest fire exit? If you are in an unfamiliar building, it is always important to know where the fire exits are so that you can escape in an emergency. This is not a personal question and can be asked in any context. I can imagine it being asked in the workplace, for instance. Do you have a first aid kit? Is there a first aid kit here? This is another important question to ask in case of an emergency. It will ensure that you are as prepared as possible if someone suffers an injury. Asking for help in an emergency. Asking for help can be difficult, but we can't always do everything by ourselves. So it is important to be able to communicate clearly and efficiently. In an emergency, it is best to try and stay as calm as possible. However, sometimes imperatives or commands are the quickest and therefore most effective form of communication. We can look at imperatives in more depth during another lesson. Call an ambulance. Call an ambulance. Perhaps you see someone who is seriously injured and you rush to help them. You might shout to someone who is with you, call an ambulance, whilst you further assess the situation. The same applies to call the police. You could add please if you remember at the time. Please call an ambulance. Call an ambulance, please. Please call the police. Call the police, please. Of course, this is more polite than simply telling someone to call. However, in emergency situations, most people are used to panicked language, so I think you would be forgiven for forgetting to say please. Help. Help. This could be an immediate response to you finding out that you are in imminent danger. Perhaps you are swimming and the waves start to sweep you out to sea. You may shout help as you see an emergency begin to unfold. Please will you help me? This is another way of saying help, perhaps in a situation of less imminent danger. Maybe you are lost and need to ask someone for directions. Please will you help me? I'm lost. This might be an emergency to you, even if it doesn't seem like one to somebody else. Another way of saying I'm lost is I can't find the way back to. I can't find the way back to my hotel. Please may I borrow a phone? You may well come across an emergency and have no means to telephone for help from the emergency services. Perhaps your phone is out of charge, or you left it at home. The emergency could be that you missed your train and your phone is flat, so you can't call someone to come and collect you. In such a situation, this question would prove very useful. Dealing with an emergency yourself. In the UK, you should call 999 in an emergency. You can then request the police, the fire service, an ambulance, or the Coast Guard for sea and beach emergencies. Are you okay? Where does it hurt? If you are dealing with an emergency yourself, it is vital to assess the situation before deciding what to do. If someone is unconscious, you obviously won't ask them these questions. However, if someone has fallen over in the street, for example, you might like to assess the damage before you call an ambulance. Where's the nearest pharmacy or chemist? You could find yourself in need of medication at any time, even in an unfamiliar place. Knowing where the nearest pharmacy is always a good idea. Where is the nearest police station? Just like pharmacy, this could be a useful place to locate. Has anyone called the police? Has anyone called an ambulance? Perhaps you become involved in an emergency situation which is already being handled by other members of the public. You can find out what has already been done so that you can make yourself as helpful as possible. You can also use imperatives when dealing with an emergency yourself. Use the fire exit. Don't block the fire exits. Leave the building now. Stay outside. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any video requests, please do comment them below and let me know which phrases you would use in an emergency. Have a lovely weekend. Bye!